Hey everybody, this is Captain Fool reporting for duty, giving you my weekly comic book review. So sit back and enjoy.
News about comic books, musical instruments, tech reviews, and video games with your host, Captain Fugo.
Welcome back, comic book fans, and welcome back to the channel. Every week, a flood of comics hits the shelves, and it can be tough to decide what to pick up. But don't worry, that's what I'm here for. We're about to dive in to this week's releases to crown one book the comic of the week. Will it be an epic superhero showdown, a mind-bending indie darling, or maybe a hilarious new series that everyone has been talking about? I've read a stack of them, and I've got some strong opinions. So stick around to the very end to see which comic earned the top spot and why you absolutely need to add it to your collection. Feel free to drop your own picks in the comments below. I'd love to see what you're reading. So, let's get into it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more comic book reviews every week. Hey everybody, welcome back to my weekly comic book review. Sorry I wasn't available last week to get one done. I sent it to the post in the YouTube there to let people know. I had a death in the family, had a funeral, and it was just a lot going on. So with that said, we're diving back though. Let's get back into the positive here. I didn't read everything, of course, because there's only so much time, and I'm going to save my top pick for the last. Yeah, so make sure you stay to the very end. All right, first one I want to talk about is Planet She-Hulk number 4. 184 ratings with 3.9 score on League of Comic Geeks. Oh, by the way, I used to grade out of a 10. Since I'm cutting some of these up in the shorts now, I'm going to use the same grading scale that they use, 5. That way it doesn't throw anybody off, okay? So I'm changing that up. So bear with me there. So anyway, Planet She-Hulk number 4. Writer is none other than Stephanie Phillips. Yeah, who cares, right? Emilio Laeso is the artist. I will say the cover's pretty cool. Pretty cool cover to get your interest. There's some open order covers that are all right, too. Anyway, we get Jack of Hearts back. If you weren't following the most recent series of She-Hulk, well, Jack of Hearts and She-Hulk were a thing, and they sort of broke up. And so here we go. We've got the Jack of Hearts is going to be the prosecutor. Well, really, the way they do that is they don't sit there and have a traditional court. They fight to death. Yeah, and it's clear that Jack of Hearts is under the enemy's control here. They make it obvious, they show that too. But nonetheless, it's a pretty good fight. Decent art, good action, pretty good story progression. This is actually a better issue than I expected from this series, because I gave the book a 3.5. Yeah, they gave it a 3.9. I usually score a little lower. I gave it, once again, that was a 3.5. I thought the last page was a nice unexpected twist in this issue as well. When I look at the readers here, I'm seeing a lot of 4s. It's pretty standard across the board. I'm not seeing a lot of differentiation here. So anyway, well, I'll just read a little bit. This was out of the blue. This issue explores more of the relationship between Jen and Jack. And it made me love them after knowing more about Jack from the She-Hulk. Like, the guy seems nice at first. I was skeptical. And now Stephanie Phillips will accommodate their love story in the battle-ridden comic, but I say that she did a pretty solid job at it. And yeah, that's what seems to be everyone saying, she did a pretty solid job. Did you read this issue? Let me know what your thoughts are. I'd love to hear them. The next issue I want to talk about is Black Cat number 7. 272 ratings, 3.7 score on League of Comic Geeks, and I gave it a 3.5. If you don't know me well, I tend to grade a little harder than average people, I guess, do. I'm almost always a little harsher on the scores here. The writer is G. William Wilson, artist is Gleb Menakrov. And the cover it's okay. It's nothing that jumps out, but there is open order covers that are much better than this one. Definitely recommend some of those over this. Anyway, in this issue, Black Cat meets the all-new Venom. And if you haven't been following, that is Mary Jane Watson, jackpot, or anything else they decide to make her, because for some reason they think they have to make Mary Jane into a hero. I like Mary Jane's Mary Jane. Anyway, Mary Jane needs help getting a tape that's embarrassing. It's not the kind of tape you think, and employs the Black Cat to help her. Yeah. So she gets a visit from MJ for this old video. As I said, not what you're thinking. It's decent art in this book, and there's some good banter between the two. As I already said in a way, I really wish MJ would just be MJ. She doesn't have to be a superhero to make this interesting, but that's what they do. Let's check out what some other people say. Here is a 2.5-star review. Quite a trail mix here. There are things I like and things I'd prefer to pick out. Wilson continues to write Felicia with such a fantastic and fun voice. There's just a spark in her when reading, and I really don't want it to be snuffed out. Hughes delivers probably the best cover of the entire run. I don't agree with that. It's okay. MJ being here would be fun, but she's currently Venom. Yeah, and see, that's where they have a problem with it. Okay, let's check out another one. This one is a 4-star review. I'll read a little bit of that. Oh, well. The things a girl will do to protect her good friend's reputation. That was a pretty good issue. It's a shame that this run has been picking up right before its end. Curse you, Marvel! So I guess it's ending soon. Okay. Here's another one. I know this characterization of Felicia is polarizing for some, but for me, the book is fun and well written. I appreciate the humor embedded in this series and the way the book doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, and that seems to be pretty good. I don't see anybody really crapping all over this book. Oh, I misspoke. I found a 2-star. The voice for MJ is pretty bad. Yep, just like the other person said, it's a little polarizing. Her being Venom also still sucks. Bravo, I agree with you there. The whole plot is kind of strange and far-fetched. All in all, waste of time. Not nearly as fun as McKay's stuff. All right, so as you see, there's a bit of a mix. As I said, I gave the book a 3.5. Not a fan of MJ being some kind of costume hero, but overall not bad. What are your thoughts? I'd like to know. For the next one, I'm diving into another rebooted new series. Yep, that's Wade Wilson, Deadpool #1. Boy, we've gotten a lot of reboots from Marvel. That's just their way. But this book had 650 ratings with a 4.1 score. I gave it a 3.9. Boy, I'm just a hair under so far. By the way, I wait to see their scores until after I score, so that way there's, no pressure there. The writer is Benjamin Piercy. Artist is Jeff Shaw. And well, we have the dangerous, unhinged Deadpool here, but with a twist. You see, Deadpool had an issue with his daughter. Evidently, he loses his daughter. You find that out later on in the issue. But Deadpool is torturing himself. He's allowing himself to get hurt with the intent. He's punishing himself. I guess he feels that it's the only way towards redemption or to dull the pain of losing his daughter. Will he be able to get her back? I'm sure he will. But that makes this an interesting tale. It's a really good opening to this. The opening pages set the tone of the book. They really do, knowing what this hero is in for. As I said, he lost his daughter and he's punishing himself, so you get to see a lot of that punishment. And our hero gets a message leading to an opportunity to take his mind off his pain and to be the hero that he believes he can be. This is good, silly humor that's fitting for the character. I think the book is off to a good start because I gave the book, you ready? They gave it a 4.1. I didn't say it already, I gave it a 3.9. Yeah, I think I did, but I think it deserves that. Not a bad book. Has some good incentive and open order covers. The main one isn't that bad to begin with. Overall, looking at people's scores, most of them are really good, but this person here only gave it a 2, so let's check it out. Another Marvel #1 that mostly just reestablishes the status quo, mixing in movie-inspired elements for an extremely popular character, without doing anything particularly interesting until the final page. Yeah, this one didn't work for me. It felt meandering, and the action beats that were clearly meant to be funny, but needed sharper, more clever ideas. Now, I think this person's being too hard. I think this fits it. I wonder if they've read a lot of the Deadpool series. It does seem to feature that kind of style. But who knows? All the rest seem to be 4 or 5s. Mostly pretty good standard scores. What is your thoughts on this? I'd like to hear this one. Is it a polarizing character for you in this situation with the MCU version of him running around too? I'd love to know. Switching gears from red to green, let's go to Green Lantern Corps, #13. League of Comic Geeks had 137 ratings with a 3.5 score. I gave it a 3.2, continuing being about 0.3 lower than every one of these accumulation scores. The cover, it's okay. Didn't grab me a whole lot on this issue, but let's talk about who did this. The writer is Morgan Hampton, and artist is Juan Jose Rip. And as to the cover, I get what they're trying to get for, but it just wasn't much to it. The other covers that are available, I didn't care for a whole lot either. Really, this just seems like a short story made for redemption, if you will. It's a redemption story. But the problem is I have with that is like 2 issues deep for this redemption. I think we needed more time for this female character to gain interest in her and have her switch from I want to get even and tear everything up to actually switching sides. And that's where I feel that this was a missed opportunity. It's short, but it's a pretty good finishing for a story as well. And at the end, though, Guy gets a visitor that's going to be setting up the next story arc. So anyway, as I said, there's just this main character. What's her name? What is it? Indigo Lantern? I forgot her name. See, she's that forgettable because we didn't see her enough as they fight this character. It's just, I don't know. I still thought it wasn't bad. 3.2, but nothing gripping. But let's see what other people say. And we see a 3-star right away. Guy really said it best in this issue. That was weird, right? While he enjoyed the contents of this issue, the glaring issues are still the same. The pacing is atrocious. I agree, it should have been longer with these characters, and details that would have elevated series are completely left out. It feels like we're missing pages in some of the cases, complete issues of explanations. And see, that's where I get. We didn't get enough time to gel the character. Let's look at a 2.5 star. If I had a nickel for every time they used a ring to have Fatality be on their side, I'd have 2 nickels. The indigo rings are given to the worst criminals known to the universe as a way to atone for the many lives they've taken without their consent. Mind you, literally brainwashing. Just cracks me up that they have used both sapphire and an indigo ring. Yeah, to make this work. Okay, let's find another one. 3 stars. Decent issue. It's pretty fun. I'm excited for the post-KO stuff, though. I don't know. I'm still liking this title a lot post Adams, but it still feels a little bit all over the place. Yeah, I agree with you there. Let's try to find something that's a little different than that. Here is a 4 star. Oh, this was a strong ending to the arc. A bit all over the place, but still sticking the landing. And I think that seems to be the common thing. A little short, could have used more details. A little bit all over the place, but somehow still manages to stick the landing. And so it makes sense why I gave it a 3.2. Nothing spectacular, but nothing really offensive either. I do like seeing some John Stewart and hope to get more with him. So let's see what happens next. The next issue I want to talk about is DC Knockout number 4. This book is selling a lot, has 2,264 ratings with a 3.9 score on League of Comic Geeks, and I gave it 3.7. Yes, I'm still a little under on everyone that they did. And we have the writer is Scott Snyder and Joshua Williams. Artist is Zermanko and Javier Fernandez. Okay, it is what it is. The cover is nothing spectacular, but it's an event thing that they're trying to tie in. It does have some open order covers. Some of them are pretty okay, but nothing really that jumps out to me is absolutely fantastic. And anyway, the final 4 put to the absolute test. 3 mysterious new Omega charged fighters have entered the tournament. And this trinity of the absolute will change the face of DCU forever. I'm not gonna give away the winner of this because that wouldn't be fair. There's decent art and there's a big fight with a climactic feel here. This is a solid issue, but it does have some predictable elements here that are running through. I would recommend, if you've been reading the series, to continue reading it. It's not a time to drop it, but if you haven't been reading it, it's definitely not the time to start. Looking at other people's reviews, I see 3 stars, 2 stars, 4. It is pretty much all over the place. So looking at a 3 star, it says, we all deserve a refund on our brackets. The bait and switch here is outstanding. Okay, I'm not going to give you any more of that because I don't want to give it away. Another one, 2 stars. Thank you. After all this time, I finally get to lasso an actual horse. I feel like I get that they don't like that dialogue there. Okay. And they said this was absolutely not worth being the first crossover. And yes, this was a pun. Sue me. Batman is the only one that felt like a worthy inclusion. And I'm not going to go any farther there because, once again, spoiler free. But let's look at one that's given a little higher score with 3.5. Man, I really wanted to love this. But at the end of the day, I only liked it. Okay, that's fair. I will fully admit that I had a good time reading it. But there are so many little things and one big thing that make me unable to fully commit to this issue. I'm not so negative that I don't think there's anything to gain for this issue. Okay, so see there, I get that. It's just a little bit too predictable. Sort of seen it, some of it coming. So, and I see how that can take away from it. And it seems to be that's what we're getting. We're getting people that really loved it, and people are like, yeah, I just wish it wasn't so darn, predictable. All right, we're getting closer to my number one picks. This was another good one, though. Batman and Robin, number 30. 294 reviews with a 4.3 score. And I gave it a 4.2, almost the same. I like this cover, by the way, that this issue had. And has a couple other covers, too. They're both good. Writers Philip Kennedy Johnson and artist is Fiaco Oso, which, once again, no meanness there intended. Anyway, we have the ending of the Quiet Man story, and we see the connections between how they're similar to Quiet Man and Batman. Just what would happen maybe if you had unlimited resources, right? And what really happened in here. We get some more depth into the Damian character as well as his connection to Batman, and I think that's good. Though if you remember my previous issue gripe with the whole Tim Drake thing, they really need to either just make him go away, which I think they are temporarily doing from what it looks like, or retcon the whole thing and get rid of this Bernard crap. Because before anybody jumps on me, I've read all the Tim Drake Robins for this. There was no indications of that character change in that character, and him and Stephanie were just one of the best couples in DC that ran for a long time, with a lot of depth and things and dark history and past and how they worked together through those things that just got thrown away like it was nothing. But in this issue, they're building that relationship, a great relationship with Damian and Batman, father and son, which is nice. Good art, good banter between Batman and Robin, and the story, I think it stuck the landing with a very good landing. When I look at other people, I'm seeing lots of 4 and 5 stars. I'm looking for something worse, and I'm not seeing anything less than a 4 or 5. So let's see what this one says. 4.5 star. Sick run, dude. Sick. Okay, that's simple. Another one, 4 star. Decent ending. I would love to see more of this writer on Batman. 5 star. I'm digging Bruce and Damian's dynamic during the current run. Damian has evolved a lot as a character, and that's what I am enjoying too. This is from somebody that did not like Damian at all when he started. So, as I said, I'm seeing nothing really but praise here for the book. If you read it, what are your thoughts on it? I'm guessing it won't be too controversial. All right, time for my number one book, but here's the thing. It's another tie this week. So we're going to have 2 books at the top spot. First one is Transformers number 29, 474 ratings with a 4.1 score. And you ready for this? I gave it a 4.3. I finally gave a higher review than all the people combined on League of Comic Geeks. That is something that I don't think has ever happened, maybe. Writer Kirkman is the writer, artist Dan Mora. And first of all, the cover is epic. You got Optimus Prime fighting Megatron. You can't go wrong there unless your art style sucks, though there is some other alternate covers that are pretty good, but I think this one does it well enough. I mean, when you get Megatron and Optimus Prime fighting, can you do any better than that? Can it get any cooler? This book has characters like RC, Beachcomber, Bone Crusher, Brawn, Bruticus, Bulkhead, and more. Yeah, it's really, I enjoyed this. This issue's a fighter. They're just all fighting. Very good art style for this book. A lot of action in this issue. If you recall last issue, we had Megatron drinking the Energon from a Autobot he just killed. I mean, it was brutal, and it sort of took everybody back. And you can see it ignites the Autobots. So finally, though, in this issue, the Autobots get the upper hand, but it seems like it's going to be short-lived, because at the very end, that last page gives something that's going to cause a disruption in the Autobots. Yeah. What will it be? I don't want to give it away. I think you should read it. Now let me look at some other people here. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of good scores here. 5s, lots of 5s, but they can't all be good, right? Well, here's one that's a 2.5 star. Pure action following last issue's final page jaw dropper, but it just doesn't land with me. Interesting. I understand you have to emphasize chaos and battle like this, but there are far too many Autobots and Decepticons to follow, and not enough individual moments and storylines thrown through the issue. Now, I disagree with that. I think we've seen a lot of the build-up in storyline. Sometimes you just need a slobber knocker, and that's what we got here. I felt this fight waters down the series' tone. Okay. Bruticus and Devastator have been shown too much and are starting to get overused for how useless they are in the series. This is supposed to be a big action fight with everyone in it, yet it feels like this issue is just filler. After this battle, nothing changes for either side besides, whoop, I'm not going to give that a little bit away. I disagree, though. There actually is a big change. That last page, I think, shows that I don't think they understood it enough. This is sort of, you got to eventually sometimes have just a throwdown. You're going to have talk and that, but once in a while, you do just need somebody to punch another person in the face, right? To make it interesting. Here is a 2.5 star. I'm not sure if new readers would even comprehend this action-based chapter. Now, you know what? They're right there. If you haven't been reading this and this was your first Transformers issue, you'd be like, huh, it was just a massive battle and then some story at the very end. So I think that's a good point. Kirkman does what Kirkman always did with all his big runs. We have 50 characters doing some crap, and I think it's much harder to read such about Transformers. Now, I disagree. Once again, there has been tons of story development for a lot of these characters. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts? I want to know yours. Am I wrong? Do you not think there has not been enough character development at this point? I think there has, but I do think that this would be a bad first issue for somebody to dive into because it's just all out war. And it can be a little hard to follow, especially if you are not very knowledgeable about Transformers. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know. Thanks, everybody. And lastly, tying for first place is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issue number 325. Now, I would sing the G.I. Joe theme song, but last time I did that, I got hit for a copyright. Yes, I can't believe it. Hasbro. I had to take the music out because I sung along with G.I. Joe for a review and had to take it out. Thanks a lot, Hasbro. Don't let me share your stuff here, right? Well, anyway, this book, G.I. Joe Real American Hero, had 42 ratings, 4.1 score. I gave the book, ready? 4.3. That's 2 books that were 0.2 higher. This is pretty amazing. Now, the cover, I think, for this book was phenomenal. I'm telling you, this book people are sleeping on. This has been a very good G.I. Joe series right now. They've got out of the constant mind control thing that was getting a little old. We've got multiple factions fighting each other constantly. It's been, and there's some brutal action too. So I think you're missing out. Anyway, writer Larry Hama, you're doing a good job. Chris Cunningham did a great job with the art on this issue as well. The cover, I think, is a solid cover. There's also all open order covers and incentive covers and retailer exclusives. This book's got some good covers, like with Storm Shadow and I mean, they've done a really good job. I like this. By the way, look at this cover here, the standard cover with all these G.I. Joes on it. Reminds me of the recent Avengers last 2 issues because, you know, they're celebrating how many issues they've had. But look at the difference here. These characters look interesting. They look like they're posed or doing something, whereas the last one, Avengers, looked like they were all standing there waiting for somebody to say, okay, guys, say cheese. They just look boring, like they're crammed together. This is how you do a cover with multiple characters on this special 325th anniversary issue. Good job to the Joes. Yes. Yep. This is a good one. Yeah. We get a couple new Joes, too, as they're with Duke and Roadblock, 2 classic Joes in a dangerous situation here. I don't want to get all into it because it is good. I'm going to tell you, solid issue, good art. We get good dialogue, good tactical action, excellent sniper fight. Yeah, great issue for Joe fans. If you're not reading this, pick it up. I think you are missing out lately on what G.I. Joe has to offer. Henceforth, that's why it's tied for my #1 issue of the week. What did you read? What's your thoughts? What's your best one? Let me know. I would love to hear it. And I want to thank you to everybody that supported this channel. I greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you, everybody. Take care until next time. Keep it frugal.